Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum viewers. Welcome to another edition of Defense and Diplomacy. Eid has come and gone, but for the flood victims in Pakistan, this was another period of misery. However, it is heartening to see that a number of international agencies, especially the Muslim world, who had sacrificed animals, sent most of the meat for the flood victims. But in Pakistan, there are angels of mercy, various NGOs, various volunteers, and more importantly, the United Nations, which has been helping the people of Pakistan who have been victims of this terrible flood for more than 100 days now. To provide you an update, we are honored to have in our studio today a number of representatives from the United Nations. First and foremost, Stacey Winston, who is not new to the PTV. This is her third appearance, at least in my program, and I'm sure she has been in more, but she has been a live wire, keeping the media in Pakistan abreast with the latest situation. Thank you so much for joining us. We have with us Emmanuel, Gignac, who is the representative of UNHCR, and especially he is looking after the province of Sindh, which is still under the effect of floods. Welcome, Emmanuel.
Thank you.
We have Truls Brekke, who is the specialist on the Food and Agriculture Organization. He is their PIO, and he's going to be sharing information about the food and agriculture situation. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
We have Anna Maria Selleri, who is from the UNHABITAT, and she will tell us more about the rehabilitation, the shelter provided, and the community being developed. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Let's start the discussion with you. If you could just give us an overview of what has happened in the 100 days. In fact, it's more like 115 days today.
Well, astonishingly, we still have an emergency situation in the south in Sindh, which my colleague Emmanuel will speak more about, where people are still underwater, surrounded by water. Villages have become islands, and there's satellite imagery that shows up to early November of up to 20-kilometer stretch where water is still very much in place and will be stagnant and will not recede for up to 3 to 6 months. That is a great concern to everybody, because people cannot return home. Over 1 million remain displaced, and we need to get emergency assistance to people as soon as possible and as much as possible. So the teams who have been working nearly round the clock are continuing to provide aid through the Eid holiday to reach people in need. That is of most urgency. We also have winter in the north, in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, where the temperatures are dropping, and those that have returned are in need of warm shelter and protection. And that is also an area where the United Nations and its partners are trying to provide at least one warm room to families that have returned home after the floods to find destruction and are in need of warmth and protection.
Definitely, they need all the help that they can get. Emmanuel, your specific area of responsibility is Sindh. Could you give us a brief update on what's happening and what has happened so far? Do we have a light at the end of the tunnel for these flood victims?
Yeah, I mean, the situation in Sindh has been quite difficult. It has been, Sindh has been the last region, the last province in Pakistan that was hit by the floods, and in a sense, some people compared it to a slow motion tsunami in a sense, because things were unfolding in front of our eyes, basically. Although the initial flood started early in August in Sindh with Kashmir and Jacobabad and Kamber. When I arrived late August and early September, you had the breach on the dikes in Kamber, and which led to the flooding of the whole district of Dadu, which eventually led to the overflow of the Mancha Lake. And there you had hundreds of thousands of people who were further displaced and affected by the flood. So things have been pretty, in crisis there, I would say, until end of September. And really October has been a moment where things were, had to be put in place. We, at the peak, I think we had, the authorities had mentioned 7.5 million people affected overall in the province. And in camps, 1.5 to 1.7 million people in more than 4,000 camps, which is unprecedented. I myself never seen that before.
In fact, we'll talk about camp management in a little while.
Yeah.
Let me take some input from my friend Truls here. The food, nutrition, and agriculture. All these three, or in fact food and nutrition, are interrelated. In fact, agriculture is also related with that. Have been your area of responsibility. Could you share with us what have you done so far? By you, I mean the United Nations.
Well, as you know, most of the flood-affected people were are farmers. They're smallhold farmers, and they lost their livelihoods in these floods. It started with the crop being washed away. It started also with 1 million tons of seed and wheat stock at household level was washed away. And it's moved on. The the animals, people lost their animals, which are very important for. That's where they keep their cash. They don't have access to banking systems, so they save up in buying some goats in good times that they can sell in bad times. So people's lives were devastated. They had to run away from their homes, and when they came back, what they found was, for those who have been able to go back yet, what they find is that the fields have been silted up, irrigation has been destroyed, and they will need help to get the farming, the agriculture back on track.
So are you giving them any seeds, any fertilizers? What kind of package?
So we are providing for the Rabi season, that is right now, the very crucial wheat season. We're providing seed and fertilizer packages, and together with that vegetable seed packages to replace some of the lost seeds, targeting the poorest farmers, typically having less than 1 acre, 1 hectare of land, to maybe 2 hectares of land, with some input so that they can start rebuilding their lives. Because without getting the livelihoods back up, people will be dependent on receiving aid for a very long time. So it's very important to get the crop in the ground, and that is taking place now. We have finished in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. We're working in Punjab and in Balochistan. But in Sindh, we see that the water, as Emmanuel was saying, the water is still standing in many places, and it's difficult. You can't get started yet. And we see an enormous failure in the irrigation systems. They have collapsed. They've been washed away or silted down. So that is also a major challenge that we're going to face now that the seed has been planted, is to restore the irrigation systems so that the plants can get water when the dry season comes in March, April.
We hope so. So Anna Marie, your area of expertise is habitat. Could you share with us some of the stories you were telling me earlier?
Yeah, I mean, I know from I've been here since the beginning of the floods, so we try with our big team to be present in the field to understand what was happening from the end of August. We conducted a big assessment to see what were the main needs in terms of shelter, in terms of reconstruction, to observe which have been the damages, to observe what are the ways that you can mobilize to support the own people effort. And beside that, which we have been making also available, and we are shared with NDMA and with the provincial authority, we have started also to work and to do direct assistance in order to test what could be the best way to support people on effort. What I've been able to do since the beginning of October has been also to travel myself and to see directly what is the situation in the field. And I've been really, and I am amazed by the capacity, the resilience of people and the capacity that they have to recover by themselves. The first place I visited has been Chersada in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and we were traveling to see how people is rebuilding their own homes, and I was going through fields, sugarcane fields, and I was saying, is this being flooded? And people were saying, yes, this has been flooded, but they have been able to